So, if you're in a relationship and you both decide that you should take a break for whatever reason, to figure some things out, or maybe you're at a bad place in your life, but you both decide you should take a step back and take some time by yourself. Are you allowed to date other people? I think that's something you need to talk about. However, you should instigate a don't ask, don't tell policy about it, because that can destroy a relationship if somebody feels like they've been cheated on, really, or just deceived or lied to or anything that wasn't talked about beforehand. Welcome to my Broken to Brave podcast. I'm Donna Barnes. Someone left a comment on one of my videos asking, is it okay to date other people while you're on a break? So that's what I want to talk about today, because I think it's a great question. And it's something that you do need to discuss with your partner, depending on how long you've been in a relationship. Because I actually know frequently during dating, people meet, they date for a brief period of time. And when I say brief, anywhere from like 3 dates to 3 months to 6 months, right? Most relationships don't last longer than that anyway. So in the beginning stage of a relationship, if you start dating somebody and you like them and you have chemistry and you feel like there's a lot there, but you're really not in a place that you're ready to date. Maybe you're not over your ex, or maybe you've got something going on in your life, or some big family event, or some work thing that has you stressed out, whatever it is that you just feel like it's not a good time. Taking a step back can help you find a better time at another time. However, I do think during those kind of situations, you absolutely need to date other people, and you don't necessarily need to talk about that. Essentially, you're saying, hey, look, I think you're great. I really enjoy you, but I just need to take a step back for a while. You're not actually in a relationship anymore. So in the interest of protecting your heart, I think you need to get out there and at least explore dating other people, because you may never get back together. That break can give a lot of clarity on a lot of things. And usually in the first 6 months of a relationship, if people decide to take a break, it's going to be a really long time before you get back together again. I hate to say. I mean, timing has everything to do with every relationship. And sometimes you meet the right person at the wrong time. I think that is very true. So if you met somebody that you really liked and you really connected with, but for whatever reason they took a step back, or you just feel like it's just kind of not a good fit for right now, but it could be a good fit at some other time, rather than force something, I do think it's healthy to take a break and take a step back. And you can stay in touch and you can communicate, but I do think you need to date other people, largely because it'll help you know how good your relationship is or not. Right? Like, I mean, sometimes if you're really caring about somebody and you're all focused on them, but they're not really in your life, if you don't date other people, your thoughts tend to fester and you can become needy and insecure, and then now start throwing all sorts of emotion at your partner, or paused partner, which can destroy the relationship. So I really think it's healthy to keep your options open and go out and date other people. And it'll actually give you a really better idea of how right your paused person was for you anyway. Because look, if you really connect with somebody and you have starting to have feelings for them, and you go out and you meet other people and you're really happy with those other people, and you're not even thinking about that person, then they probably weren't the right person for you. And then it was good that you were dating anyway, because then you weren't wasting your time waiting for somebody who really wasn't right for you. But if you go out and you date other people, and yeah, they're good, you're having a good time with them, but heart of hearts, you're really hoping that the other person wants to unpause, then that's a good indicator that that is something worth pursuing. But I think you also can't wait for people. Unfortunately, some people get stuck pining for somebody for far too long because they felt like they really connected and they're not going to find somebody better. So they wait. But you could wait for a really long time and be really lonely and then never actually get back together with the paused person. And then if you find out that the paused person is dating someone else, you could get really hurt by it. If you have been in a relationship, because as a coach, I'll tell you, a lot of couples come to me, they've been years into a relationship and one person wants to pause. That is worth a discussion about. You have to discuss whether you're going to date other people or not, because otherwise it does feel like cheating. It feels like a violation. You need to define the period of time that you're taking a break. Right? 30 days is something that a lot of therapists will say, just take a step back for 30 days just to reevaluate and to see how you feel and, process things. 90 days, I think, is a better gauge of time. There's something magical about 90 days. There's 90-day rehab programs and things like that. I really think 90 days is a better break time. And if you do 90 days, then I think you should date other people. Because like I said, it will prevent you from putting all of your focus on that paused person, which will drive you crazy, especially if you've been in a relationship for a long time and then now you're just not in that relationship anymore. Essentially, you broke up, right? It's an easier way to break up, because I have to admit, when people pause in a relationship, it's because something's wrong. It's because it doesn't feel right, or because they've got just way too much going on, or there's all sorts of reasons why people really like the person that they're dating, but just don't feel like they're ready for a relationship. So they decide to pause. But in my 18 years of coaching people, pausing doesn't usually lead to you getting back together. It can. But the problem is it usually creates anxiety in the person that didn't want to pause. That's really why they need to date, so that they don't throw all that emotion at the person that did want to pause, because it's usually unbalanced. If both people really want to pause and they both feel great about it, then you're probably just breaking up, right? But it doesn't usually work that way. Usually it's one person has something going on in their life, or they're just not feeling something and they want to pause. But that is really a little bit selfish if you think about it, because they're pausing because they don't want to lose you. But at the same time, they're not really giving you what you want and getting your needs met. So pauses are essentially mini breakups. So I think you do need to agree to don't ask, don't tell, meaning, hey, look, we're on a pause. I'm keeping my options open. You can't ask me if I'm dating anyone, and I won't tell you if I'm dating anyone. But if I meet somebody that I'm going to get into a relationship with, I will let you know. So there's no hurt feelings. And at the risk of sounding like you're playing games, if your partner wanted to pause, now you go off and date somebody else, that might create insecurity in them, that perhaps they made a mistake and they don't want to lose you. It is such a slippery slope of a pause. If you're going to pause in your relationship, you need to lay ground rules and define what paused means. Because a lot of relationship coaches and therapists will suggest a 30-day pause to step back and evaluate your feelings and process your feelings and see if you come up with a better result. It's usually if you're at an impasse at something. If you're at an impasse in something and you're really not wanting to agree to disagree, by taking a 30-day break, you can both go into your corners, if you will, and process your feelings, which can be helpful. It really can. And then at the end of the 30 days, you agree that you won't date anybody in the 30 days, because 30 days is a fairly short enough time. Use that time to do some self-growth work and work out and do things for yourself to make yourself happy. And then 30 days later, reconvene with your partner, and hopefully you're in a better space by then. That is the intention of a pause. The problem is it doesn't usually work that way. Usually there's a pause because you're at an impasse at something and somebody has hurt feelings about it. And then somebody wants to pause and the other person doesn't. And then it becomes an argument and then you just kind of break up. But then it's vague. Are you paused or you're not paused? What's going on? Are we paused or are we not paused? Right? So I think if you've been in a long-term relationship and you are going to take a break, 30 days is the recommended. If it's going to be longer than that, then you need to set ground rules. And I do think you should date other people, because it can keep you grounded and give you perspective. By dating other people while you're on pause from a relationship that you might think is your one, it'll keep you from throwing too much anxiety at the person that you're paused with, and really keep you sane instead of focusing all of your energy and all of your attention on that one person, which is never helpful. It's really not. It's why when you first are dating and you meet somebody terrific, you should keep dating other people, at least going on dates, so that you're not all focused on that one person, which usually doesn't help, right? It can throw the balance of a relationship off. I know for me, I've had, guys that are just crazy about me, and I'm just not there yet. And it ends up really causing me not want to see them anymore because they just were too much, right? So, I mean, the one guy I actually, like, he dropped me off and I said to him, he said to me, "I miss you already." And I actually said, "You don't give me time to miss you," right? Like, he just was like, I mean, he was inviting me to do very fun things, which is why I kept saying yes, right? But I mean, I think that's unhealthy. And if you have more than one person that you're dating, it will prevent you from spending too much energy on that one person that you're crazy about, and then mostly pushing them away, right? So, without getting off topic, if you're interested in taking a break from a long time relationship, I think it's really worth sitting down and having a heart to heart conversation about why. Why are we taking a break? What's not working? What in your heart of hearts do you really want to happen 30 days from now, or 60 or 90 days from now, however long you decide to take a break for? And you need to set a time period so that it's not just ambiguous, because otherwise you just broke up. If you've paused and you've not put any kind of end date on it, you broke up. So you're free to do whatever you want. You can date whoever you want. You probably shouldn't flaunt it in your paused partner's face, right? But I think it keeps you grounded. I absolutely think that by dating other people, it keeps you from ruminating about the person who paused, which usually creates anger, which is never helpful in a relationship, ever. Right? I mean, years ago, I made a video called "Don't Let Your Best Conversation Be Your Last." Because unfortunately, I think once people get to a point in a relationship where they're done, they're willing to say what they really feel because they feel like they have nothing to lose. So if you're at a point in your relationship where you think you're going to pause, it's a great time to have that heart to heart, no hold barred talk, right? What is it that you are truly feeling? What is it that you truly want? What need do you have that you're not getting? Maybe you're just not really feeling it. How do you really feel? I think talking all of that out can really make your relationship better. Because, first of all, holding things in, it just is a powder keg, right? It's going to explode eventually. And perhaps that's why you're wanting to take a break, because you just can't hold those things in anymore, and you just really need to get away. That's usually why breaks happen, because you're just all inside your head thinking things that you can't share with your partner. So you just want to get away from your partner. But I highly recommend having that really deep, what is, like, state of the relationship kind of talk of, how do you feel? What is going on? What do you need? What are you not getting? What would you like? Like, all of that stuff, because I think all too often that happens when you're breaking up, and then it's too late to get your needs met by your partner because you never really told them until now, which I think is really beneficial for a relationship. Sometimes taking a break from a relationship and taking care of things in your life or moving to a different place, frequently you meet the right person at the wrong time. And then it's better to not blow it up, but to just take a break from each other and move on with your lives and do things that you need to do. And yes, date other people. But if no one really sweeps you off your feet, and then things are better in your life, try it again, because now it might be the right time. And I'll tell you, that's happened in my life. People that I maybe kind of dated, wasn't that into, and then years later saw again, and then, yeah, swept me off my feet. So that happens. Timing is everything. It really is. So if you're in something and you're feeling like you want to take a break, talk to your partner and tell them exactly how you're feeling and what you need. Don't be mean. I'm not a fan of criticizing, and not like, if you're just not attracted to your partner, it is never helpful to say that, right? Like, there's nothing they can do about that. Why make someone feel bad about themselves or insecure? I believe when you're saying something to somebody that you feel could be constructive criticism, if it's something that they can change, then be honest. But if it's something that they can't change, there's no point in sharing that, right? I mean, as a matchmaker, I get feedback on dates. And frequently one person says, yeah, I just wasn't attracted to him or her, right? Like, I just wasn't attracted. What are you going to do about that? And there's no good point in telling somebody, yeah, he wasn't attracted to you, right? But chemistry is the word that's easier to take, right? You just didn't feel chemistry, because you could put two of the most beautiful people in the world together and they may not have chemistry, right? They may not be attracted to each other. So that shouldn't make either one of them feel bad about themselves. But unfortunately, people do have fragile egos. Be honest is what I'm saying. Be honest and open and transparent about what's not working for you, or what you're feeling and what's frustrating you and why you want to take a break. If there is something valid that you think you just need time to work through, and then you'll be ready for a relationship, taking a break is a really smart idea, because then you're not going to create bad feelings and you're not going to blow something up in a bad way by being half into a relationship, which is never good either. It causes hurt feelings in the other partner, right? So it's not pleasant always to be on the side of somebody telling you that they want to take a break. But if your partner is telling you that they want to take a break, ask questions about why. And if they genuinely believe that it's just a break, or are they breaking up with you? Because they may not know yet that they want to break up with you, but that might be what they're leaning towards. So they're thinking taking a break is a safer, easier way to get there. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate your comments. Keep leaving comments and I'll make videos about things that you want to hear about. And I look forward to seeing you in my next podcast.